Hello students, welcome to the video lecture series on knowledge representation and AI. So let's begin. In today's lecture, we will be seeing what is the cycle of knowledge representation, what is the relation between knowledge and intelligence, what are the techniques, what are the requirements and approaches to knowledge representation with example. So first we'll understand what is the relationship between knowledge and intelligence. In real world, knowledge plays a vital role in intelligence as well as creating artificial intelligence. It actually demonstrates the behavior in AI agents or systems. So therefore, it is possible for an agent or a system to act accurately only when the inputs are correct and based on the expected output. So let's take an example. Now you can see this. In this one example, we have a decision maker whose actions are justified by sensing the environment, by sensing the actions and the knowledge. Okay. So, but if we remove the knowledge part, for example, if we remove this, it will not be able to display any intelligent behavior because it is just sensing, but it doesn't have the knowledge base on how it should perform the action, like what the agent is supposed to perform the action. So that won't be clear. So that is the basic relationship between knowledge and intelligence. So if you don't have knowledge inference, you don't have the domain, you don't know how to act in the situations, how the things should be perceived, how the things should react to a particular environment. So that would be really baseless if you don't have the knowledge. So that is the important difference between knowledge and intelligence. Until you have a strong knowledge base, you cannot come to a good intelligence or you cannot provide good intelligent solutions. Now, what are the different techniques of knowledge representation in AI? So basically there are four representation techniques. We have logical representation, second semantic network representation, third we have frame representation, and fourth we have production rules. So we will see them one by one. So first, what is logical representation? So logical representation, you know, it is a language which is used to define the rules, for which we use some propositions and which has no ambiguity. So basically these are very important in the communication rules. Okay, so as it consists of precisely defined syntax and semantics. Okay, so we know that the syntax is normally what is whether the sentence is in logic, whether we can use it in knowledge representation, do we need some symbols. So basically this logical reasoning will be done using logical representation, and this is one of the basics for the programming languages. So we know that there are some restrictions to this logical representations because it may not be very natural and it may not be that much efficient. But normally we use the propositional logic or the inferential calculus for the logical representation. Then we have semantic network representation. This is one of the alternative to the predicate logic because they can represent the information in the form of graphical network, which is already said to be a semantic network. So we will have a network which consists of objects and arcs, and basically they define the relationship between each other. So we have different forms of link, like you've already studied in OED, like is a relation or it's a kind of relation. So basically they are a natural representation of knowledge, so they're very easy and very simple to understand. But if you consider the drawback of the semantic network is that their more computational time is very required, like they have a lot of computational time required during the runtime, and also they don't have that much quantifiers by which we can justify the rules. So therefore we can say that these are not that much intelligent if you compare to the other networks. Then we have is a frame representation. So frame will be in the form of record, like a structure which may be a collection of attributes and entities and the relationship between them. So where we'll have the knowledge representation into substructures. So where we'll have the knowledge divided into multiple slots, and they could be of any type and size. Okay, so that would be like facts. So basically we can use this by looking into related data. Then framing representation, which is easy to visualize, or to have some new attributes or relations, or finding out some missing values. So such type of things can be done with frame representation, but the mechanism is not that much easy, or to get the approach in a correct manner would be tedious, and also it has a very generalized approach. Then we have is the production rules. So in production rules, the agent checks for the condition, and if the condition exists, then the rules is fired and the corresponding action is carried out. Like in SQL you have studied the triggers, right? Like the same part comes with the production rules. So the condition part of the rule determines which rule to be applied. whereas the action part gives the associated steps to be solved. So therefore it is said to be a recognize act cycle. So basically this production rule will consist of three parts, that is the set of production rules, the working memory, and the recognize act cycle. Now the advantages is these production rules are represented in natural language, highly easy. But what are the disadvantages is that it does not exhibit any learning capabilities. We do not have any storage facility for storing the result. Some of the execution rules may be active, some may be inefficient. So basically these are some of the important techniques of knowledge representation in AI. In the next lecture, we'll be seeing what are the representation requirements. So stay tuned. Thank you.